Yo guys, how's it going? Barless is live here, and today I'm doing something I've seen other YouTubers do, and I thought it was a pretty cool idea. So I will be ranking my favorite generations of Pokemon from 1 to 7. I'm not including Generation 8 because we've only seen the starters and a handful of released Pokemon, so I still haven't really seen it. A couple rules that I will be basing my decisions on is both the games, the anime, and sentimental value. These are my choices, so they may differ from yours, but that's okay. So let's get right to it. So right off the bat, an S tier is going to be Generation 2. Generation 2 was kind of special for me because it was the first game I ever got when I was a kid. I think it was back in 4th or 5th grade. My parents bought me a Nintendo DS, and they bought me Pokemon Soul Silver. So it was the first Pokemon game I got, and I have a lot of sentimental value to it. In fact, I still have the box of the first Pokemon game I got. It's all beat up, but I still keep it nowadays because I really like the memories of it. That's my sentimental value to this game. Game-wise, I thought it was really good. If you play Pokemon Silver, Gold, or Crystal, the story was really good, but when they did the remake on Soul Silver and Heart Gold, it made it even better. The graphics certainly had a big boost, and not only that, but I really like the mechanic that you can visit 2 regions in one game. That was really cool. They definitely made it so you had a post-game objective where the gyms were actually way harder, even with a complete Pokemon team that you just beat the Elite Four with and the champion. So I think it made it a good challenge, made it really fun, and I definitely place it on S tier. Now, the only other game that I'm gonna place on S tier is going to be Generation 4. I really like Generation 4. So after I got Heart Gold and Soul Silver, I ended up getting Pokemon Pearl. Pokemon Pearl, and I really enjoyed it. The gameplay that it had was really good. I think it has one of the best storylines. It introduced the whole concept of like space and time. It was just like this. It had an interesting feeling to it where the legendaries kind of were like these quote unquote holy beings, which is what a legendary Pokemon should represent. And I thought it was just really cool compared to that, like a Generation 2. It had Lugia and Ho-Oh, which were legendaries, but for some reason, I don't know, when I'm comparing them to like Arceus, creator of all Pokemon, to Lugia, Guardian of the Sea, but just a Guardian, it's not even like the actual ruler because you have Kyogre for that. I don't know, like, I felt like the story was really well thought out, the legendary Pokemon were really well thought out. The starters too, they were some of my favorite. I forgot to mention this in Generation 2, but my first starter, it was my first game, so it came with my first starter, and the first starter I ever got was Chikorita. I'll do a starter video some other time, but yeah, Chikorita was my first starter, so I definitely think it's one of the best starters. But putting that aside, Generation 4 definitely had some of the best starters in my opinion. Turtwig was a really cute thing and grows up to be like this land tortoise tree thing. It has like rocks in the back and an actual tree growing out of it, which I think is freaking amazing. Chimchar in the games is really cool. Definitely one of the few firefighting types that I actually like, because firefighting is really worn out, but even though it's a firefighting, I really enjoy him, and definitely one of the good firefighting types if you want to kind of use it in competitive, but that's something else that a lot of people don't do. And in the anime, he was a beast. Ash had a Chimchar, he evolved all the way to Infernape. Dude, their battle against Infernape versus Electivire, one of the best freaking like rival battles in like anime, like the Pokemon anime, I personally think. And Piplup was Piplup. I didn't really like Piplup, but I just like him. He's just there. But overall, I think definitely Sinnoh deserves to be on an S spot. Now moving on to an A spot, this is kind of a controversial decision, but I'm putting Unova up there. I play games a lot of times for the story, and Unova had an amazing story. So they kind of took the whole concept of the yin yang, split into Reshiram and Sekrom, which was like the yin and the yang, ideals and truths. It was really nice story. They had Anne, who was like this abandoned child who could talk to Pokemon through their emotions. They had the whole Team Plasma were like hypocritical bad guys that wanted to like liberate all Pokemon to stop them from getting harmed, but they would attack Pokemon. So it was like a really interesting story. They introduced a lot of cool Pokemon, cool places to go to. That well, I mean, every generation has like a cool place that you can go to, but I felt like Generation 5 just added a lot of that like true Pokemon feeling. I feel like if I were to go into a town or a region, the Unova region would feel most of what it is now. It's modern, but it has different climates, a lot of like interesting areas. Like if you go into Desert where you can get Volcarona, that's a really interesting area that a lot of people wouldn't have expected in that kind of game. So yeah, definitely in the anime, I have memories of it. Like where I live, it used to air in the mornings, like super duper early. So back when I used to get up early to get ready to school, I would watch it while I eat my cereal and get ready. And it was really fun. I have good memories with it too. So it definitely goes in A tier. The games, the remakes, Black and White 2, added on to the good story of Black and White. So I definitely put this in A tier. Up with A tier, I put in the Kanto starters. I never played Red, Blue, or Green, so I don't have that nostalgia that a lot of people have with Gen 1 starters, but I definitely do think that the designs, the stories of them, and everything that they did with them was really cool. You know, these were the first things that came out. They had to impact people, they had to be liked by people, and I think that Charmander, Bulbasaur, and Squirtle did a great job at that. Their evolutions are freaking amazing. In the anime wise, Bulbasaur definitely, you know, Ash's Bulbasaur is like a freaking amazing Pokemon. He pretty much helped Professor Oak. Now he runs the lab for Professor Oak, kind of being like the sheriff. Ash's Charizard is freaking strong. He was kind of a jerk, but you know, he had that whole redemption episode in Charizard Valley. And Squirtle, you know, you had the Squirtle cop, and now he's like a firefighter, dude. So they definitely all had their own little separate episode in the anime that made him stand out, whereas other starters have like not even like a full episode, or just their introduction. So game wise, anime wise, and I don't really have a lot of nostalgia with them, but definitely them being the first starters and them having pretty good games and TV shows puts them up in A tier. Following up in B tier is gonna be Hoenn. Hoenn is interesting, because I was really debating on putting it up in A tier for one reason, and that is if you played any of the Mystery Dungeon games, well, not any of them, but like Blue Rescue Team and Explorers of Time, Explorers of Sky. Is it Blue Rescue Team? Actually no, take off Blue Rescue Team. Explorers of Time, Explorers of Sky, with the time gears and all that. Dude, Grovyle is a GOAT. And because of that game, Grovyle also became one of my favorite starter evolutions. The whole games on their own are not bad. I think it was definitely interesting how they had their first friendly rival, I guess you can say, with Wally being this kind of shy kid. So even though the rivalry was there, and I felt different from like the previous games, which is Generation 1 and 2, but it wasn't bad. In the end, he ended up kind of like growing this courage and challenged you like right before the Elite Four, which made it really climatic. Like right about as you're about to end the victory road, he challenges you. So I think it's really good writing on the video game side. And then on the TV show, I watched it, but it was so long ago I don't have a lot of memories about it. I know I did have certain parts that I liked, but overall, if I watched it and I don't remember that much of it, it just wasn't that impactful for me. So that makes me put Hoenn in B tier. Now these two I'm kind of struggling about. Alola took a different turn for Pokemon games. You know, they got rid of Gen Leaders and put Trials. It was a lot broken up. You know, they had like the 4 islands, and it was a lot different, and I don't want to say it was bad, but the thing is, the anime kind of ruined it for me. I'll put it off for later. I'll talk about Kanto first, or not Kanto, Kalos. Sorry about that. Kalos was interesting, because the game kind of was like Unova to me. It felt like what a modern city would look like in Pokemon. It had a lot of good lore, a lot of things that you could explore or enjoy. The sad thing is it didn't have like a remake adding on to that story. We had a lot of unanswered questions, and because we had a lot of unanswered questions, I don't want to put it all the way at the top. If it would have gotten a remake, probably be up in A tier, up with Black and White, because you know they had Black and White 2 adding on to that story that was really good, and same thing with Kalos. They had a story that was really good, but they didn't add onto it, so it kind of lowered it down a lot for me. Starter wise, I never really liked Chespin. Fennekin was really cute at the beginning, but I never really felt its final evolution. Froakie though is kind of saving them. They had that whole thing in the anime with like Ash Greninja, the synchronizing bond. The anime was pretty good, you know. Ash had 2 dragon types. They added a bunch of pretty good episodes, but they honestly kind of BS the finality of it. And because of many reasons, even though it was super good, the writers kind of threw off the anime by making it not that good. The games, they didn't have a remake, so it wasn't that good. And I don't really have like any nostalgia to it per se. Like I played it, I have good memories with it, but it's not like nostalgic. So it's definitely gonna go up in C tier. There was a lot of things that definitely bring it up. There's a lot of things that also definitely bring it down. So I can't put it any higher. I was actually thinking of putting it lower, but like I said, Froakie and then Ash's, and then the TV show was good all the way till the end. So it's C tier. It's mediocre, but it's not terrible. And finally in D tier, I had to put the Alola Generation 7. The thing is, it was different, but not in a bad way. Like, the game isn't bad, I enjoyed playing it. It was definitely a big shift, but there's something that just never stuck. I feel like for the Switch, you know, Pokemon Let's Go came out, and it's a nice little shift, but I definitely would not like to see it again. So it's kind of similar with the Alola League, I guess you can call it, where the trials were interesting. You know, you don't have gym leaders per se, but the battles were kind of boring somewhat. The trials sometimes took longer or were annoying. So the game it wasn't bad, but it wasn't good. It was literally like just in a very thin rope of being good or bad. However, the thing that sets it down on D tier is the anime. I watched all of the other seasons' animes, but I just could not watch Sun and Moon. The way they changed the animation on XYZ to Pokemon Sun and Moon, I couldn't watch it. If you watched X, Y, and Z, the animation was so clean. The battle against Zygarde was like, oh my god. Ash actually even looked a little older than 10 years old because of the way they drew him. The animation was clean, it was well done, the fights were amazing. Switching over to the Alola region, it looked like it was drawn by like 5-year-olds. It would look like bubbly characters. It was too gaggy. I couldn't get any of that feel that you make by getting a connection, you know. So the anime was complete garbage. I watched 4 episodes, the beginning 1 and 2, and then I just watched the battle with Necrozma, and that's all I watched because I tried to watch in the beginning and I couldn't, so I dropped the first 2 episodes and that's it. I never picked it up again. But I do always like to see the battle against the legendaries. It's kind of like the climax of it, besides, you know, the Pokemon League. So I watched the 2 episodes or 3 episodes that it took to beat Necrozma, but after that I never even touched it again. Starter wise, Rowlet I think has an amazing design. It's so cute and round when it's in its first stage, and then it turning into a ghost and grass type that shoots arrows like Robin Hood in Final Evolution. I think it's a great design choice, and it's definitely a pretty good grass type starter. It's in my personal opinion, I think it's better than Chespin and Snivy. Litten was pretty cool, you know. They took down this cat and turned it into a wrestler. at the end, but they didn't put in a fighting type, they put as a dark type. So I think that was a nice little turn where they still implemented the normal fighting type that they do for almost every other fire type Pokemon, but they added a cool little twist to it, and they actually put reasoning behind this. You know, they put it to the heal Pokemon, which in Mexican Luchador Libre, it's actually the bad guy or the antagonist, so that's why it's a dark type. So I think that they put a lot of thought into it, and I should really enjoy him. He's actually really good and competitive too. And Popplio, I'm neutral about him. I don't really like his final evolution. I like his first form, and I don't really care about his second. So it's just neutral. It's whatever. But yeah, what definitely messes up Alola of the Alolan region for me is the anime. So yeah, this is my tier list on the Pokemon generations based on how they did in the anime, how they did in video games, and how nostalgic or how attached I am to them. So hope you enjoy. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. I will try to post more videos since I haven't been posting in a while, but I'm back now, and I'll definitely try to post more. Hope you all have an amazing day. Peace out.